And we go. No plan for today. A couple things that I was working out. I figured out like scenes and presets and stuff, which is nice. Interesting. What's interesting is it remembered what I had before. That's annoying. So what we have to do is go into number one, like play. I don't really want A1 to play at all. What we can do is go to A2 and then have it loop to A3. Let's see if that works. Yeah. And will it loop back? Yup. Nice. Okay. Cool. And then stop? Why you stop? Why for you stop, buddy? Why you stop? I want an A4. There is no A4. Okay, how do you clear a preset? I guess you just hit the clear button. That'll work. So it should be A2, A3, A4 doesn't exist. So if we hit go, nothing happens. It just went like forward and it was like, now it's time for A4. There is no A4, dickhead. There's no A4. Stop it. It doesn't exist. This should loop back to A2. 4 bars, then go to A3. 4 bars, then go to A2. Do we have to put repeat infinite? I don't know, let's try it. And nothing happens. Pain then. I've just never done this before with the vector. It's extensive. There's a lot of stuff that you can do. I mean, it's a lot. So it basically flips back and forth, which is kind of cool. Okay, nifty. Now, my question, see, here's the thing. On each preset, can you change settings? So for example, I could have a scene Hey, bad machine. I could have a scene where I would be like, click to a scene, and then in that particular step, the subsequencer or the transposition turns off or on. I wonder if that will work. Let's test the theory. Because if that works, that would be really, 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 really cool. Like, really cool. Because, you know, well, you don't know. Because reasons. Well, because then you could just touch, I could touch a button and I could use that to, for example, I often have a track of the vector controlling layers on the R bar. And I only want that to happen while the subsequencer is running. So you could have a preset where that happens, where you're like, oh, okay, we're going to let's go into chords mode, and just go click, and then shwa, and then everything changes, and then you could click it back, and it would go back to normal. That would be something to research during this stream. I think that would be a really good idea. If we could get that to work, that would be outstanding. And then once you can get it to work, you can save things as like a template. So then I could just like call it back up again. This is fine. It's fine. Like, well, the output level of that oscillator is not the best. Actually, yeah, let's do this. Let's just change filters here. Fortunately, if I change filters, I'm going to have to change cables because these little fuckers ain't going to reach. Hey, Bon. Yeah, I mean, there's a few types. You got these kinds. These are called Hosa hopscotch cables. So it has one end here, and then it splits into an actual plug and a socket so that you can put another cable in it. So you can basically duplicate any signal. And then there are, of course, the stackables, which are like these things. So this is a cable that you can plug in another cable at either end and duplicate the signal. And you can get these in all kinds of different lengths. And it's very, very useful. Let's put it that way. It's incredibly useful. Yeah. I don't have a ton of them. I got like a half a dozen of the hopscotch ones and like, I don't know what, five stackables, and they're all the same length. I could actually use some short ones like this because I'm using these in some semi-permanent ways, and it would be good if that were not as dumb. Like this one, where I'm splitting the clock off from the immature Versio into the C legs, and this just looks dumb. I don't like it. Okay. Bass. Let's see. We need cables. Bright green is our only option. We stay with green. I try to keep my voices color coordinated. So like, oh, let's follow the green cables. But then there's just never enough. There's never enough for all of them. It's impossible. And then we need a gate, and we need an envelope, and all of that happy horse shit. Let's throw a gate up here. Sure, why not? And then an envelope into here. Oh, hey, Defu. And Shen. Yeah. Yeah, people really dig them tendrils. They really like their tendrils. I have some. I do have some. I think what I found more useful in what I do is the ones that are half 90 degrees. I've got a bunch of cables like that, and I always find those to be like ultra handy. Let's see here. Do we want this to be 16 steps, I suppose? But sure, and then we put pitch information in. We can do some simple stuff like octaves. All right, let's see how that sounds. Shut up. Well, I mean, that just sounds, you know, absolutely fantastic because make it a little bit more boingy. Curve the envelope but make it longer. Okay, so then the key would be like, oh, hey, we're in C minor. We can transpose. We can go down to like the A flat to like that delicious area, or a B flat. Because the B flat will be a major. But we want that controllable, right? So here is my question, my big question. Can I save this? So right now I have the subsequencer and it's off. If I save a second preset as the same thing, so if we go to duplicate, and now I've duplicated it in A2, can I go into A2 and then turn transpose on and set up a subsequence? Dude, I have looked at the DLD so many times. So many times. It's very, very tempting. I realized I have a good amount of 4MS stuff, and I don't think I have any of it in my rack here. And I was like, I have the ensemble oscillator, and I took it out because I kind of just didn't dig it. Hey, Carrot Top, thanks. Okay, so yeah, and I've got a few other things of theirs too. It's all generally good. I mean, so if we go like 2 measures, and then we go down 4 half steps, and we go down 4 half steps, and then we go down 2 half steps, and then we go down 2 half steps, and then we can go basically back to where we started, and maybe leave it. Yeah, I have the quad pingable LFO. I also have the spectral multi-band resonator, which was kind of a disappointing purchase, to be honest. It's a bit of a one-trick pony, at least for me, and I think it can do more, but I just never really dug into it. So I was like, man, what could I take out of here? It's about the size of a melodicer. It's really big. It's a little smaller, so I could just like sub out a melodicer and plug it in. Ethos, what's going on? I'm not doing a whole lot today. I'm experimenting with a couple of things. I've been, and I also updated I don't know, ensemble. It just always sounded the same. Just always the same, and you know, and it was really good at super duper harsh sounds, just like FM, just like, you know, sounds that wanted to murder you. Well, and then it could sound like an organ, and then, you know, I don't know. But like my regret is more of like maybe I should give it another chance and stick it back in here and see what it does. See, my thought is if you have like I think the ensemble oscillator is the same size as the mini mod, so I could just be like pop it out, pop the new one back in. So yeah, I still have mine. I it's sitting on a shelf in a box. Okay. All right, now let's test this thing. This is A2. Okay. So what we can do is then go to our like preset scene menu thing and be like, okay, here, A1, we basically want to play it. How many bars? Can we put this on like infinite? Is that a thing? No, it just keeps going in a number of bars, in all of the bars, all of the, oh yeah, we can say play for forever. And then we can say, number 2, we can also say play for forever. Okay, now here's my question. If I go back to preset 1 and I go here, see, subsequence is off. Now if I go to preset 2, subsequencer is on. Yes! Yes! Okay. So, I don't know, let's hit play and see what happens. So I go to my now, if the subsequence is going, it's going to affect this part also. That's right now I've got 2 oscillators, the chainsaw going into the font filter, and then 1/2 of this Weston 2V2 going into the 1 USVF. To broadcast, I'm just using OBS, but I got a lot of bells and whistles here. I have hardware HDMI mixer here and a studio or PreSonus like Studio Live like mixer interface. Okay, so now if we go to, you hear the other one is changing. Okay, so if I go to preset 2, now it should start here. Yes! Yes! Oh, I see. I'm using Restream.io. And then if we want this to go back, we just go back to A1. Okay, now I want to set up an R bar. And now this should stay here and it doesn't go anywhere. Yeah. Okay. Cool. Let me get an R bar. Yeah, I had the ensemble oscillator in my rack for a while, a couple of years, I think. And you know, one thing too is when the synth bug hit me when I was about, I don't know, man, like 10 years old, maybe something like that. I'm a classically trained pianist from a young age. Like I started taking lessons when I was 6. And my piano teacher played switched on Bach for me, and like being a guy in my 50s, all of the analog sounds that I grew up with, that's like permanently embedded in my DNA. So it's like the ensemble oscillator was cool, but I think it didn't have that delicious analog goodness that I oh so crave. I think that's a big part of it. Hey Alex, And that's a really good way to do it, but I will say the experience is radically different. I mean, it should be for spending $30,000 on stuff, but we don't talk about that, do we? We don't talk about brokenness, SS. Had to be done. Okay, so I'm going to quickly record some parts here. That was a painful laugh. Yeah, right there with you. By the way, this is my Rhodes and my System 8 right behind me. Record this into the R bar. 3 different chords. That's a Roland System 8. You can always tell by the insanely bright green everything, but I love it. It is, I believe, the last production model that uses the ACB engine, which is analog circuit behavior, which is a really, really, really good analog emulation, whatever. Magical, mystical, analog, or algorithmic engine thing. So, yeah, I have a stack of synths in there and behind me, and in fact, here, let me see if since there's some light here, you can kind of see one up on top there. This guy, the guy up on top is a Korg Lambda. I have an Alesis Micron down here. I have an MS-20 up here, but it's covered with modular hardware and random other hardware. And then there's another piano in that room, a VR09, which is a Roland Oregon emulator thing. I used to do a lot of theater gigs, playing synth for theater productions, and there's like sets of things that you kind of just need. Like, you need a good piano sound, you need a good, like horns and stuff, like things that aren't necessarily going to be, dedicated musicians that they hire. So, okay, so we need to cycle the playhead on this, which means we just give it a basic LFO here. A little bit on the faster side. All right. Talent, but it's just a shitload of work, and we need output for the thing. I like just calling it work. because work means anybody can do it. And that's true. I mean, I wouldn't have done it if my parents hadn't, cracked the whip and forced it to happen. But they did. Let's bump up the gain. Do we get anything? We get anything at all? Oh no, you're on the wrong layer. That's why. Okay, I need to give it so we go back to part 6 here, is what I typically use, and we put that on whole note, right? Now, here is the question. Let's see. Oh, nice. Dude, I was looking at the nibbler. It looks interesting, but if you have a Turing machine, and it's kind of sort of the same thing. I mean, if you have a Turing machine or if you have an ornament in crime, I mean, shift registers are basically like X number of bit binary register and like random voltage spewer. So like you can set this to 4 bits, which I believe is what the nibbler is. So you can just put it on 4 and it starts repeating in cycles of 4. It's hard to make out unless you slow the clock like way down. But like you can kind of see it in like chunks of 4. And it keeps repeating. You can see the little LEDs, barely, since it's covered with cables and crap. So I would highly recommend just getting a Turing machine. I think everybody could use one in their rack. And even if you just use it for like clocked timed modulation, it's still really, really cool. Okay, so we need to enable these steps by putting a gate on, and we're going to go G3, G3, C4, C4, and then back to normal. So if I hit go, we're on blue, and we got a pad. It's way too fast, though. Right? Wait a minute. Hang on. This should be... Wait. Whole note. Okay, yeah. Typical like full sessions for me, I might have, well, I'll have every single mixer voice filled. So that's 19 channels with my sub mixer here going into the C legs. So I'll have every single thing filled. So that'll be like 19 different voices, not going all the same time. Yeah, I would say though the nibbler is probably more expensive. But yeah, I was looking at it and I was like, wait a minute, I already have a Turing machine, so like we kind of don't need to do that. Okay. So I think here is what I need to do. Okay, I am going to go to my preset manager thing here in the vector on part 6. All right, and I'm going to duplicate this preset here, and then what I want to do is go back to A1 and put all of these back to C. And so essentially this is going to be like muting the part, right? So if we go back to here and then we go to our sort of like edit thing, play for forever. All right, and then if we go to part 2, it should just play for forever. All right, so then if I go to my full scene for everything, now here's my big question, and the one I wanted to answer today, is if I push like new scene here, new preset here, will that affect all of the other ones? I think it does. I think it will. So if I hit A2 right now, it should go. Now we start transposing and we. See, that's not working. Wrong filter. Yeah, see, this is not doing a thing here. But if I go to part 6, see, it's still sitting there. So how do I make it all change at the same time? Here's the scene menu. So now we can go like part 1 and part 6. A1? Can we just do that? Oh, I see. I see what it is. A2. So now we go here. Scene 2 is off. No, it's not. Just kidding. What the fuck? Okay, let's go back to scene 1. And this should be off then. Should go right here. Yes! Yes! So that works. Basically then, I just go, I'm on the scene menu on the vector. It's really hard to see. Tell you what. Tripod. There, you still can't really see anything, so. Now you kind of can. So if I go and I use the main encoder here, and we go to scene number 2, and we push go, now it starts on the transpositions, down to A flat, and then up to B flat, and then back up to C. And if we want to switch it off, we just go back to scene 1. Pause for a second here. It'd be silly to have all this stuff going and then not have any kind of modulation. That'd be madness, I say. Vector cam. Let's just make a bunch more analog, like analog oscillators and stuff. To be honest, like other than, okay, so I think I get this now. I think I get this. So if we go into like the major, like the scene menu, that's where you start really controlling things. Part 3 is on like autopilot. I don't have anything in part 2. Part 4, let's do that next. So I think what I want to do is have A2 as the start on that scene, and then A1 on part 6 and part 1, because that sort of turns it all off. So I think this should be off. That way we just go down 1 and then up 1. I was using Ornament and Crime in the There's a Lorenz attractor mode, which is like the sloths. So it's like a swoopy organic LFO, essentially. Mine was like locked on that for a long time. Yeah, let's get another little part guy going here. Dink a dink a dink. Part foe. Part foe. Analog boy. Yeah, let's go analog boy into nothing because your cable is too short. Son of a bitch! Rah! Smash. Just break everything. Yeah, let's just go into synonym. Synonym. Yeah, if you're gonna get a Rungler, you should just get a Benjalin. And then have your Rungler built in with a separate circuit, and then you have all of the noise. Oh, hi! Hello, buddy. Part 4. Let's just do it part like 5 notes long. So with this, we can also put in some chance operations. Yes, please. So we'll do this every other bar, and we'll go up 3 halves random. Even numbers. I kind of want to do the same thing here, but on odd. Transpose together. Something funky in there. I think it was going to just a weird, like a seventh, and so it was playing a B flat 7, which I don't really like that much. But you know, what are you gonna do? Okay. All right. Yeah, I think I'm getting the hang of this. Let's throw another part on here too. Let's do a fifths part. I like fifths. I like lamp. Michael, what's going on? Two, three, four, five, six. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Chance probability of this guy going up 3 half steps on the even bars. Yes, yes, please. Oh, let's. Should actually patch it. Be good to, you know, hook it up to something. You know, might find it helpful. Let's see how this guy does in the Foxtrot Duo. You know what I mean? And then I think I'm just going to sort of throw these 3 together, play with them a little bit, maybe set up a quick lead, and then I do want to patch one thing, though, and that is going to be an 8-measure rise, 8-measure fall going into the feedback control, because I would like the feedback to eventually become like uncontrollable chaos and then just go away. Let's see how that sounds. Mute those guys. Let's see what we got. We got nothing. We got 0. No, we just have, oh, we gotta put this guy on poly mode. Mother puss bucket. Voices. Oh, it needs to go up 5 half steps, not 3. Yes. Alright, now let's change the envelope a little bit. Take the sustain out completely. And then we got a little... well, let's just leave everything else. Everything else is fine. Sure wish I had more input gain. See, yeah, this is always the case with that oscillator. Always needs more. Musicians always wanting more. But this guy, I can just crank it up. And then we'll give it a channel of water, because why not? Go down an octave. This guy absolutely needs some modulation, because then it starts to really shine. See you, Sean. not in tune, and I hate it. And then we're just back to normal. Oh, it's gonna be so easy now. I mean, it's gonna be so easy now. Okay, that makes me happy. All right, real quick, ding ding, mute. Oh yeah, let's fire up a quick. I'm just gonna get a quick lead going, just a quick melodizer lead here, and let's use this dude in just like regular mode. Its weird connection points right in the middle of the module. What a weirdo. envelope. Are you gonna reach? Nope. Son of a... We are sorry. All long purple cables have been used up. To obtain a long purple cable, don't use them up. Upside down. Okay, now it's also time to test the video synth. Yeah, the video synth got updated today. Finally. So, theoretically, there should be all new engines in this now. Oh my god, 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 oh my god. Oh my god. Oh my god. That is actually pretty cool. Hey. And you're not reacting to my voice right now. But you should be. Yeah, it was. Yeah, okay. Okay, now this is interesting because I have the camera enabled in my video synth, and so it's just tripping the fuck out right now. It's at an angle. That's the only weird thing. Because of the way I have it glommed onto the tripod. But it looks a lot smoother. They did a ton of updates with this thing. The video thing, that is. Yeah, well, this is the typical workflow that I do, but now instead of like muting a part and turning subsequences on, I can just set up scenes to do all of that stuff. Now, the only thing I'm curious about is, can you use a scene and like mute a part completely? Like, is that a thing? Can you just mute something? Yeah, you could just rest it. Oh, Jesus. Wow. Okay. Okay, that's really cool. This is gonna be interesting. So, okay. Anyways, until next time, which might be tomorrow, to be honest. It's still supposed to be like 95 degrees here for the next couple of days. So, can I show you guys something I'm kind of proud of? It's dumb and it's hilarious. So, in disc golf, there are like 50 million kinds of discs, right? And one of them is called the astronaut. All right. So I put Katy Perry's face in a space helmet and just labeled it astronaut. And I don't know, I think that's fucking hilarious. That's what I did for part of my day today. Yeah, dude, the Melodicer is just so fun. Okay, so like here's the thing, right? It's doing a thing. So you turn rest down up a little bit. And so like when it switches to the A flat chord, I just turn up the slider for A flat. And then like B flat. So you can interact with it and change things as your chords change and stuff, which is really nice. And it all depends on where you've got your range, like sliders are. That makes a big difference on the structure. But you can always just redice the melody and the rhythm and just change it all around. And I'm surprised nobody's already done it, to be honest. Maybe they did, and I just didn't see. But, you know, there's a lot of disc dyers out there. What can I say? And then something was doubling up, and I think it was my percussion, actually. I think it was hitting a weird reset. Anyways. Yeah, so anyways, till tomorrow. And thanks for coming, and yeah, we'll see you. One of these days I'm going to do a deep dive into, like, something, and I don't know what it's going to be. Like, I have to be in the mood to sit down and like learn everything. Stardust might be a good time for that. Do some like Frippertronic style recording and looping. That would be cool.